Hi, I'm Exis, and this is Terraformers, a game which is in early access and where your objective is to terraform Mars. And I find this is a very cute little game, and it's quite fun to play. We're just gonna get in here. I had lost all my things here in a recent patch, so let's just keep on going here. So in this game you get presented with a start option, and you can minimize this one. You don't have to select it right away, and you can look where you are situated first. We can see here we have silicates and some water. Now these small deposits, they're just a one-time small boost of up to about 5, I think. And these large ones are usually a larger deposit, so you get a larger one-time one, and you can usually build a mine on that tile too, or you can build a mine. So we got a silicates mine here and a water mine here. So that's 2 resources that we're gonna get very early on. We've got some terraforming parameters here towards the side too. In this scenario we just need to collect points. That was why I chose this one for the first video. There we can just kind of brush through it a little bit quickly. And we get a selection of our leader here, of who we want to select. So Tariq here will give us a water boost. This one is permanent and will be with our colony until we finish the game. And then we get to keep him for 10 turns. And during this time we can construct police stations and use the overwork ability, and everyone can do the explore ability. And then we got Thomas Foster here, and he's got the silicates one. You get more silicates for every 3 you start producing, so that's also quite nice. And he can build a supply station and mine resources. And this one is very good when you get a little bit further away from your, so if we were to explore in a straight line out 3 or 4 tiles, we could build a supply depot there and would make it cheaper for subsequent leaders to explore. I think we're going to go with Thomas here, even if this water boost one is very nice to have. And then if we press the small light bulb down here, we can select which kind of start we want to go with. And so the balanced one you always have access to. And you gain nearly enough food to build a habitation module, but you do have the greenhouse farm and enough water to build that too. So within 1 turn you can build a habitation module and get another population. Scientific one will get you started on the science, and you don't have enough to build the eco homes anytime soon. And with the space one you get for the habitation module. And population increases the range of cities, so you can expand outwards from them. Now, so which start do we want to go with? Well, the space one here, we can hover over them. We get with 2 extra trade routes, so we can exchange resources for another kind of resource. And we get the orbital ring space project, which costs 22 tritium. And we didn't have any tritium around where we were, so that might be a pain if we have a hard time finding a tritium deposit. And the habitation module is the same for all of these. The eco homes is a little bit cheaper on food, but costs science as well. So that one is very good because food is usually the main source of growth for expanding. You do get enough food in this one to expand directly. And you get some titanium. And you also get titanium in the balanced one. And to build a mine on either the water or the silicates, we're gonna need titanium. So I think going with the scientific one, the main reason for that is taking the research center early. That means we will get 5 cards instead of 3 cards. We will go with a balanced one here for now. And then we've got our city. We can rename it if we want to, or recolor it if we want to. New burn is okay. And then we've got this layout down here, and we can see this is a good spot because it's got 4 adjacent tiles. So if we put a building that there's adjacency bonuses on a lot of buildings here, so having one building here that can provide adjacency to 4 buildings around there is going to be something we build this city around. And we also have another point here which has 3 on, so we're going to have housing on these 4 spots with something that gives adjacency bonus to the houses in the middle. And for this one here, we'll go with food growing buildings and have a building that boosts food production in the center. So we can pop that out too. The headquarters counts as a habitation module. It's basically, no, it is exactly the same. We'll just pop that down there. We get 1 population, and the city has 1 comfort of living from, if you add up all of these here, so we have 2 radiation protection and 1 from, that's the total sum. So we have +2 here from radiation protection, and then we get -1 from all of these here. And then the sum here is 1. These don't really affect anything more. Temperature is -1. And that gives 1 away from the radiation protection that the crater gives. And that's where the 1 comes in. And once you get oxygen and rain, those give a positive modifier, but they don't give a negative modifier for not being here. And then support is the sum of comfort of living times the population, so 1 population, that ends up being 1. Let's place the farm. We can have the farm out there. Yeah, so we will put a building that boosts agriculture in the center there, and then we can have these edge slots for things that don't need. You can also relocate the city if you find a better location, and you can either click that button there or right click to get out. So obviously we want to explore now, and we probably want to explore out about 3 in either direction, or 4 out in either direction in a straight line, and that costs a lot of energy, but then we can build these supply stations at the edges there. We'll start by going out this way to the water mine. I think water is the more important early resource. We need water and food to be able to expand. And here we found some water and some nitrates. And we reveal the next 3 spots we can go to. And you can hover over them and see what they are. The big ones here are usually like you can build a special structure on them. So this might be a canyon overlook or something like that, a sand dune that you can make tours out to, which will boost the city that is connected to it. Out here we've got a large hint of nitrates, which is good. That's a nitrate deposit, and that's another good early mine. And we've got some small hints of water and nitrogen, so this is probably an empty tile. But we're done for this turn, we can't do anything more, so let's pop over. We will be speeding up the pace a little bit too. And now each turn you get to select a research project, and all of these 3 are actually quite good this time. Usually you get 1 or 2 that you really want. Getting the tuber farm, we've got the, we can also save this option for later. We've got the nitrates down here, and we've got some more nitrates down there we could explore for. We're gonna go for the nitrates up here and start just trying to get over into the next zone over there, and because this is a mine as well. We've got 6 nitrates there, and some more titanium and titanium and water. So we need 1 more nitrate to be able to build a tuber farm. We do have a silicates deposit down there, so we could take this one and build in a few turns a laboratory to start learning some science. And the tritium thermogenerator produces power, which is also a very good building to have if you have access to titanium, of course. If you don't, you're not going to be able to build it very easily. And we can't see any titanium yet, so we're not going to pick that one. And we already explored out this direction. I probably want to keep going into this direction next turn. This could be a city location, or it could be probably here. You've got the Valles Marinaris and Olympus Mons, Tarsus Mons. If you zoom in, you get a lot of the names of places too. Noxus Labyrinthus, and this is the entire Valles Marinaris that spreads out there. It's quite cool. You can just get lost in the map here for forever. We're gonna go in and build our habitation module, so we get the expansion point, and also because this now increases the population, we get some more scenery down here. These buildings don't do anything, it's just for scenery. We've got a support change per turn of 2. This one will start to decrease later on. And then now we've got 2 populations, so we've got 2 times 1, which is still 2. That means we can build 9 buildings here, and we can have 2 locations. The first location obviously is the city, so we've got an expansion point here. We can expand over into the aquifer. And here we can either extract the water for the oceans. This will leave this tile empty, but we will get progress towards the oceans over here, which is important if we want to have plant life on the planet, because then we get some wetness up. Now we need we need 4 levels of sea rise to be able to plant anything, to get rain in South Syrianum, where we are located at. We also don't have very good oxygen here, and the temperature is not very good either. But the temperature isn't as bad as it is on most of the planet. We're going to build a mine here. We need the raw resources, and the water mine is fairly cheap. To be able to build a new city, you need 30 food and 10 water. So we already explored this turn. We haven't selected what we want to research. Going for the laboratory or the tuber farm would both be okay. I'm going to go for the tuber farm because we got the nitrates. We'll get more nitrates when we explore this location. Or we might go for that one to get the titanium so we can go down this one. Yeah, probably. We're going to select the tuber farm because we need to increase our food output quickly if we want to expand. And then we'll turn. Now we could go for greenhouse farms too, and they require water instead of nitrates. So depending on what you have around yourself, that might be a good choice. Could have another habitation module, but we're not going to be able to build one anytime soon. Or have the Tritanium thermo generator. I don't think in this case either of these are the best choice for us. And we can also mine a deposit, one of his skills, but we're not going to do that. We get a small bonus from the output there. We're going to keep exploring up this direction. That's 3 out. We get the titanium and the nitrates. And we also found some lost supply crates. We got 10 food for that. Now this is good. This is titanium mines, 2 of them. And we probably want to go up towards one of those. But seeing as these are mines, we're not going to want to put the supply station on top of them. So we're going to start going down this direction. We can't mine these without exploring more up here anyway. We're going to put our supply stations the last 2 turns we have them. So now we have enough nitrates to put down another tuber farm. And we'll keep with the pattern here. So we want to put a building in here that will boost the farms. So we're just going to put them over like so. And we don't have anything. Yeah, we need to select one. I'm just going to pick up the greenhouse farm, because at this rate we're going to be able to build a greenhouse farm before we get 30 food. And we can always pick up some more water from exploring one of these locations. And this is usually happens here, or it happens on turn 4 when you get your first trade route. So again, we'll just pop that one down and we'll select it once we've seen what we have to work with. And the trade route works in such a way that you can export one of your something that you're producing, and you can import something that you need. So depending on what you have a surplus of and what you currently need. So right now we probably want to get this silicates mine going. We can't really do that either because we don't have any connections. I'm thinking we keep exploring up this direction. I could go for the nitrates there, but I think we're going to go straight up towards the titanium deposit. And that is a high plateau. Some buildings gain bonuses from being on high plateaus. We're gonna probably go up to Olympus. Would be nice. Would like to try out to build one of these on a mine. I haven't done that either. Okay, so we've done everything there except choose what we want to keep. We don't want to have another one of those. Could have another habitation module for when we get enough, but we're probably going to build another city before that. So I'm going to grab the laboratory. We're hopefully going to set up this mine quite soon. And it says here that we haven't used our trade route, but we need the water and we need the food. So we're not going to trade for anything else at the moment. Could start trading for nitrates, for example, so we have the 5 when we get this one. Could maybe trade away some titanium, but titanium is a lot more worth than nitrates. And we do have some points to explore here. Let me give nitrates. Now this is a pretty nice random event that can show up. We get to choose from one of these 3 resources, and we'll see which one is the better one for us. So nitrates, silicates and titanium. See which one is most useful. And okay, so we get the research projects. We have the titanium thermal generator again. So by getting the titanium there we could start making power, which would be really good. We get the entertainment center, which is one of these that you can place in between habitation modules to get them to the population in them will produce more support, which is also very good. And we have the laboratory, which produces science. And we can build this one, and we could build this one if we select the titanium. We can't build the research laboratory because we don't have enough of either of the resources, and we get 10 of either, and we already have a laboratory down here anyway. So let's pop up here, and we get the titanium, and we will select the titanium thermal generator. It will go into burn here, and we will place down the greenhouse here, so we can get our adjacency bonus here once we get that building. And we will put this one. This one provides -1 support for all adjacent population. So if we put that one here, we get -2 from the adjacency bonus of it. So obviously we want to keep this power plant away from our citizens. We'll place it down here at the back end of the farms. So it's out of the way. Out of sight, out of mind. And we're now producing 3 food and 1 water. So we're probably gonna, this means we're in 5 turns we've got 30 food. We've got 5 turns to get 10 water, so we can build another expansion. We do want to get this silicates mine online, but we don't have the expansion points there just yet either. Now we could use the mining function here, so we get 5 water, and we don't have a large or gigantic deposit. This is just a normal one. It says in the parenthesis if it's a larger gigantic one, and that means you get 2 or 3 per turn. And this one would cost 1 power to run there. And we can't run it here because we don't have a mine there. We would like to get that supply station up here somewhere too. And maybe we can place it on the titanium deposit. That would make it a lot cheaper to explore these locations. Hopefully there's something here like a lava tube or a crater or just the plains that we can build a city on. So I would like to do that too, and that has the nitrates that we need too, but we do need some water. Now I am tempted to build a supply depot up here. We can't, don't think we can do anything else this turn, and then maybe start going down this way and exploring. I was thinking of going down from here straight down there, out about 4 steps too, but we could go 2 steps out from here instead as well. That will also be 4 steps out from home. But I think we will add the supply station. We can probably save that a little bit. We don't have the resources to expand right now anyway. And once we find an expansion, we will want to... So we got loads of water here, some nitrates and silicates. That was a high plateau too. So nothing more to do this turn. That means we're 4 turns off being able to, and 5 turns there. And here we get some exploration satellites. Now these are really good. And let's get those out of the way and we'll talk about the exploration satellites. When we're using our leader to explore, it'll cost 5 power if we explore all the way up here at Olympus Mons. It gets progressively more expensive with each step you're away from one of your cities, and it doesn't count from owned land. This one is 2 steps away. It's from the city because there's a exploration hub in the city. However, with the exploration satellites, we can explore anywhere we want to, and it has a recharge of 3 turns. So let's explore up here on Olympus Mons. We found flat plains up here, some more nitrates and some titanium, and a little bit of support. And now this icon here means that we can build a city here. So we can build a city on Olympus Mons, which actually sounds like quite a cool idea. And in here we've got some rocks. If we want to remove them, we'll have to pay power. And we've got some natural sites here. Building something next to this one will gain 3 support per turn. So maybe in this city, this would be a good idea for the headquarters. And then we could have a building here, and we could have more housing on all of these 3 just to make use of this one. Otherwise we got another 4 over here. We could use this for a farming triangle or farming quad, or a power quad, or something else that we want to have with adjacency bonuses. So this is a decent place to be. However, it does not provide any radiation protection, but it is in a pretty warm area, so the comfort of living here is 0. We don't have any penalties from it being too cold, which of course is good. So this is a good city location. Now, to be able to found a city here, we need of course the resources, but we also need to explore all the locations adjacent to it. That means this location and this location. And now we have the explorer here too, and we have probably 4 more turns to explore these 2. So we can get 1 more with the satellites here. That's 3 turns. And we probably need to use our explorer here for the last one. We would like to build the supply station on a tile that can be recovered or used for something else. So this one might be a good one. It would cut the cost down. It's not as far away as I would like, but it would. And it's gonna help to explore out this direction a little bit too, and this one. We might have to think just a little bit about that. And otherwise we want to have want to get this silicate mine going down here, but we need population for that. We can have a small look at our cards here. Now we have the robot hub too. And this is also an interesting one because it provides robots. Now robots do not provide... We'll actually pick this one, I think. We want to expand before we build any more apartment buildings, and we don't have the water to build a farm, nor do we have a good location for them. We'll pick the robot hub. Robots count as population for maximum building limit and location count. So by building the robot hub here, We can actually show that. We'll just plop it down. I put it down there, I think. And that way means we have 4 population. Now they don't count towards the support change, so we don't gain any more support for having robots here. But we have increased our building limit, and we have gained 2 expansion points. So we can have 14 buildings instead. I can revert that one for now. You can see the difference. And we don't have the expansions. So now we have the expansion option to go down to get the silicates mine. And we still have 4 more turns until we need to have both of these locations explored to be able to build a city up on Olympus Mons. So let's explore down here. That's 1 power. We gain some extra silicates. That's nice. And we want to build a mine there. To be able to build a mine there, we need to place the robot hub. And where do we want to have this one? I'm kind of saving these locations out there for something that won't affect these ones. Let's put it there to be a buffer between the living zone and the industrial zone. We've also got the laboratory, and placing this one won't get in the way of anything. We'll keep the lab down there. Pop down here. We need to expand to this, so press that one. Go down there and build the mine. And then we've got 1 more location that we can expand to. It'll be one of these 2, and it should be a flat plane on one of them. Because if we were to expand, we could expand out to the nitrates deposit. But that would result in us getting -1 support. And support is one of the big limits in the game. So we will keep on going. Now we don't have any titanium income nor the tritanium income. We don't really have a need for a second laboratory. But we're probably going to select the laboratory anyway, just so we can place it up here when we do need it. That's another 2 turns until we can explore here. And we don't have the need for either of those at the moment. So I'm thinking this might be a good turn to build that supply depot. And I'm debating with myself whether to build it on the titanium deposit. I'm unsure if the titanium deposit disappears. But we do have a second titanium deposit right there. And we don't have any other ones. Titanium is quite an important resource. You use it for a lot of things. Tritanium is mostly used for space projects. And nitrates and science isn't used for very much at the moment. So they're probably the least valuable resources. I will place it there. It just costs 1 extra energy to get one of these explored. And then we know it won't destroy the mine there. And that's the only ability he can do this turn. We need to select a project. We'll take the laboratory. We can put that up in the Olympus Mons city once we have enough nitrates for it. And now we have the option to sell our silicates for something that we are in better need of. We're going to get a lot of nitrates from exploring these 2 hubs, and some titanium too, and some power, which is nice. And we can't really speed it up here either by putting 1 more. We're going to end up at 28 then instead of 20 or 30. We're still going to take 3 turns, no matter how we do. So we'll just stockpile the silicates for now. And so these marshes are pretty good if you have some place that is radiated. And the road paver provides 3 expansion points. This is a very good one. It's quite expensive in titanium. And another greenhouse. I think we will go with the road paver this time. We don't have an immediate use for any of these. You can also sell your cards if you hold them off and discard them, and you'll get 1 science for them. So now we'll start exploring up here, so we're finished with that soon. Get the nitrates and the titanium and power, and that's a nitrates deposit, so that's a good mine. This will probably be some sort of geothermal vent or something, because it's a large hint of power, with some way to provide power outside of the city by building a power plant on them. And we could place down the laboratory down here in Bern. Don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to save it for the next city, and because we might have other buildings we want to put in here in our de facto capital. Let's say Crater City. So here we get one of the new additions to the game. It's a technological advancement, and these ones cost science. So we need to pick one that suits us fine. And this is a one-time bonus of 1 power and 1 titanium for every robot you have. So every time you build a building that will add a robot to a city, you gain 1 titanium and 1 power. And this one will give you 1 science for every 5 science you produce, starting with the ones when you take this one. So works just like okay, and here comes the rising expectations. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but this is -10 support income. We're at +2 at the moment. When we press this one, we're at -8, and take that one down. The silicates here, as soon as we get 3, we'll get a bonus production of +1. And the self-learning AI works the same way for science. Once you get 5 science, you get a bonus 1 in income. And science is quite easy to get, so this one is quite easy to get, but science is also not worth as much as some of the other resources. And this one will save us 2 power for every rock we need to clear. So in here we've got 3 rocks, and they'll cost 9 power to remove. If we have the other tech, it'll cost us 3 power to remove them. And power is usually one of the things that it'll restrict how fast you can expand. And we've got the expectations is -10, and we're just getting +2. So starting from now, we're ticking down 8. So we got 146 support in our pool, and if it takes away 8 every turn, it should last us for about 15 turns before no, a little bit more than that, right? Oh, 15, 16 turns, I think, before we run into deficit. And when we run into deficit, we lose the game. And we want to reach 800 points before we reach a deficit. And we get points from loads of different things there. And this game mode is just kind of like free play. There is a full free play mode too if you want to play that, where you can just build and terraform everything. Now next turn we want to be able to build our city here. We're going to use our exploration satellites up here. That was a geothermal spot. That gives us a one-time bonus of some things. We get some more food, which is actually quite nice, because that means we can expand already this time. And here you can either build a power plant or a spa resort. And the spa resort gives 2 comfort of living to the city that it's connected to. We're probably in more need of power at the moment though, but we will found this city. And a new loam, that's nice. Let's have a blue city here. And we'll put it here because it gives us +3 support per turn. So now we're down to -5. And this is from just having 1 population here. So we're already making more support out of our new city than from our old city. We will also put out our laboratory here while we're at it. So we want to get out of the city here. And now we have a second city. And if we try to explore from here, the resource exploration will be counted from this city. So it's a lot cheaper to explore up this way now, which is nice. We have 2 turns left with Thomas, or we can, the last turn we get to choose if we want to use him or the next one. We probably want to see if we can't go out. There's going to be mines on both of these. Let's go out this way. And it goes from the supply hub there. I think that is where we want to go. And maybe we can go out there and build a supply station. We have the events here. We're gonna select the advanced land clearance techniques. I think that's the one that we will gain the most from during the game. Did we choose a research project? We did not. But need another laboratory. And if the city produces more than 5 food, this one is 5 food cheaper and provides adjacent population with 3 support per turn. And then we have the magnetic fusion plant, which is -1 comfort of living. Don't really like the idea of any of these. And I think we're just gonna scratch it and make 1 science instead. It works exactly the same way as throwing them from here. You can only have a finite number of cards down here. And is there any resource we might want to change for some titanium. And we want to get this one as soon as possible too. So we don't want to take them from there. We can export one. I don't think we want to export the food. We'll export some silicates and import some titanium. And turn. Okay, so here we get a landing pad. That could be quite a good one to have. And then that's the road paved depot we already have, and a habitation module. I think we're gonna select the landing pad. It's a very cheap one, but it gives us an extra trade route. It's gonna give us some flexibility in a bit. This is a surface construction, so it needs to be constructed on outside of the city. And I'm thinking one of these two is going to be a prime location for it. Probably this one is the safer bet. Because both of these we want to build a mine on, and here we want to build a power plant. So we need to probably want to get some of these. This one would be very good to get going. But we need more expansion points, and for the expansion points we need the road paved depot. So we need to put the road paved depot in here somewhere, probably up this way, as we get it out of the way. And that means we get all 3 expansions, so we can start building on them without raising up the population anymore there. This one we already have an expansion point, so we're going to use that one for the landing pad. However, I do want to use up Thomas's. Let's see what we have here. That's 2 more turns and he's going to be gone by then. I want to explore down here and build a supply depot down there. It's going to be expensive to explore down there. Gain some silicates and some nitrates. And this is an empty tile. So we're going to put down a supply station down there next turn. And next turn we're going to trigger the election. And here we need to reselect. So we currently have Thomas. And we get to choose from Misha, who has builds cheaper bacteria spreaders. Usually not an issue because they use science. And she can genetically alter some of the life forms. So that you can spread them faster. So we're not really at this point in the game where she makes sense. And Lena can make an art gallery, which provides 3 support for every planet location providing support for comfort of living. We don't have any of those at the moment. And we can spend water for some extra support. So that we're at -5 at the moment, I think. So that's 8 turns worth of support. And that's an okay one for just getting out. And her one is that if you have more than 800 support, you gain one more card suggestion, and you can pick one more to keep. So you can keep, and you can keep 2 extra ones as long as you have support over 800. However, we don't need to pick one of these just yet. We can press the X up in the button, up in the corner there, and get out of them. And we'll do the same thing with this. We'll deal with that one in a bit. And that means we still have Thomas, and he is retiring, but we can use his abilities one last time. We're gonna select the supply station down here, because neither of the 2 leaders that are replacing him are their abilities aren't very useful for us at the moment. We don't have enough support or anything there either. But that means we can use their turns to explore around these supply stations cheaper. And then next turn we can get the spaceport up and running. So we need to go in and select a project. We got the touring company, which is kind of like Lena's special building, the art gallery. It provides support for everyone you have around there. We could build a spa here, so that spa would generate support from this building, but we don't have any of those buildings, so we're gonna select the windmills here. I don't think we the tuber farms would be nice too, and we're soon gonna have enough nitrates. We could build one up in Pavonis and gain more food. We're about even on food and water at the moment, so that's quite fine. We do need more food though. So we kind of want to save up on nitrates for the for another building. We'll select the windmills. With a little bit of hope, we should be able to put them up on both of these here. And getting the extra power will help us explore. Oh, and to select to open up the leader panel again, we need to click on him. And which one of these we select doesn't really matter. I think Lena's specialization will be better for us in the long run. And once you've had them selected once, they won't come back for you. Just having the... Actually, we could have... Because we're going to need to build bacteria spreaders quite soon too. So we might actually get more use out of Misha. We'll select Misha. I think mostly they're going to be used for... And see, the skill has already been used because we used Thomas's skill when he was... coming up. And we have the titanium to build both of these. We kind of want to have this one first though, just so we can get these mines online. We'll have the turn pause, and we don't have very high. We have 3 population, so that would give us 60 support. We have 180 at the moment, so that would be -5. That's 30 turns off. No, not at all. 60 divided by 5. That's 12 turns of support. Or we can double our resources, which means we'll gain an extra one for each one of these. Let's pop that one down for now. Here we get the Composting Facility, which is a nitrate mine if you have 3 population. A rover exploration center, which you put on the surface and acts like a city for, and it comes with its own rover. So it's an extra exploration tick you get, or a laboratory. So we can use her to explore cheaply from around here now and gain more resources that we might need. But we do want to put these out, I think. And got the exploration satellites too, and the exploration satellites we kind of want to use on the ones that are most expensive. We don't really have any ones that are expensive now, so let's just use them for something that we need more resources from. We can explore this one, probably that one is a little bit more expensive, and we might get some power back. Now we got 4 titanium. Now we want 3 titanium for the road paver, We're going to put the road paver down here to give us the expansion points we need. I think we're going to open up the... Oh, actually, I was thinking maybe we want to go and open up the spaceport, but maybe the titanium mine is better to get up and running first. And if we select, we can explore here and we should be able to get that up and running this turn. Now we got 6. We got really lucky, that was really good. Okay, so we're going to expand out towards the titanium mine and get that one online. Don't really need the nitrates mine online just yet. We need loads of it, titanium, for the geothermal plant, so we don't need to go out there. And this one has 3 small waves here. This means that when we get the oceans up to 3, this one will be submerged unless we've built a dike by then. Now the dikes are pretty cheap. As the cost goes up, the more you have to build them. See, this one has 2, so this one will be submerged earlier. We need to build 2 levels of dike here to protect it. And that comes into play a little bit later if we want to protect these sites. You can build ocean mines too over the resources. But if you've already built something that you might want to protect them. Now we can't expand out here until we have explored it. So we have need to select a new project. This one, I like this project because it gives an extra exploration thing. But we don't have the titanium anywhere close, and a lot of the buildings we want to build are titanium at the moment. Both the power plant and the mine down there, this power plant and the landing pad cost titanium, so we're not going to pick that one. And I don't think we've got much use of a composting facility, but it is the one that was going to be feasible for us to build anytime soon. We need another point of population in here before it's worth it, because we've only got 2 population and 2 robots in here. And she can't do anything, so we can resolve this one. I think we probably want to have the resources, but now we'll get an extra titanium because we built that titanium mine before we selected this one. So we got both the titanium too. So often it's worth to take the options down and do them last, so you can get the maximum benefit out of them. And here we get to choose our first life form, bacteria. And we will get a bacteria spreader with both of these options. And then the bacteria we can choose from are Dinococcus, which produces atmosphere, but it requires a 0 temperature biome. And we can select the Methanogenium, which provides heat and is able to live in a 0 or -1 temperature zone. So we'll minimize this one. We'll minimize this one. And now we need to start looking at our biomes. So here is a -1 zone. And it's -3 on both of these. So we could use the methane ones here, the ones that provide heat. And down here we have -3, neither of them can live here. Up here in Elysium Plantina, both can live. So we can get the atmosphere one going up here. And up here in Tarsis, where we have our other city, it's also a 0-1. And you usually want to start with them in the zones where you have your cities. So if the first thing we're gonna do is go and explore down here. Do we get the rocky plains and silicates? This is an empty plains. It is a high plateau, which is something to keep in mind. Neither of these have a bonus for being on a high plateau, but we can use this one for something that has a bonus for it. You can move these buildings around afterwards to just lose their effect for the duration of the move. So it might be worth shuffling it over one spot or 2 spots, but generally not more than that. And it's better to build another city. And so we're gonna want to use this one on the life form that we have picked, but we need to have some place to pick them. So both of these would be a decent choice, the atmosphere and the heat. And they give the same kind of, from oxygen oxygen is different from atmosphere. The atmosphere provides radiation protection to all our cities. And the heat provides comfort of living too. So they work in exactly the same way. And now we can look at the spreading time is 10 turns for 1 prestige, or 12 turns for 1 prestige and 1 heat. And because we can put these ones into 2 zones, then we can put these ones into, well, 4 zones, I guess. I think we're going to pick these ones. I usually pick the other ones, so we'll start off with these ones. And this gives us access to the bacteria spreader, which of course needs to be built on a planetary location. And that could be one we want to build here, because we've only got 2 places to build it on, and we could always move it. Only costs science, so it's cheap, and we don't really need that extra trade route this turn. It can wait until next turn. We could even wait a little bit more and get the windmills before the landing pad at the moment, actually. So let's expand here and put the bacteria spreader out. That means we get the life forms. We probably don't want to use them because we want to... I think we want to do this one before. And here we can get to choose more life forms, so we can maybe get a different bacteria. We need to select a research project too. Now the eco homes are quite good because they cost less food, and cost 20 food instead of 30, which is the standard. But we also want this soil factory. This soil factory is the one that will double our food production. There is more of them like it, but this one is the first one you get access to. This one provides atmosphere and heat. Also costs titanium and power, something we're not making a lot of. No, it's a hard choice here. We don't really have the science for it, and we want to save up the science for this one too. So let's pick the soil factory. And we will waste 1 turn of the bacteria spreader to be able to get the minus 15% reduction. This one had 10, so it'll work out evenly. Now we can probably spread it because it works out the same way. We will start in this zone where we have our city. And you get these small purple splotches of bacteria. And maybe we have enough. Yeah, we have enough to... Depends on if we're building the windmills next turn. Yeah, we're building the windmills next turn here. And then we can wait a little bit longer with that one, I think. Otherwise we expand out, take the nitrate. Yeah, we want to have the nitrates deposit this turn, I think. Let's expand out there, build the nitrates mine. It's going to take us 2 more turns until we can build the windmills. That means we can spend 1 turn doing the genetic modification next turn. Public baths is a good one. Provides 2 support for each adjacent population and 5 support just for the building. This one is good if you've got a lot of power buildings surrounding it. Don't really have the silicates for it either. And then a laboratory. We'll take the public bath, and it'll be a decent building to have here. Or maybe we'll put it up in New Loam. Now we could expand out and take the other titanium deposit here. But we're running a deficit at the moment, so we want to be a little bit careful with that. Let's use the genetic modification. We can only use this once. Oh, that's fine. And that's all we can do this turn. And here we get an android hub, which is 3 robots instead of the 2 we got from the drone hub. We got a CO2 factory and another landing pad. And see, a lot of things cost titanium. The titanium is something that you do need a lot of. And doesn't really matter. I don't think we're going to be able to build either of these for quite some time. We would like to get some housing up. Alright, so we've got the exploration satellites too. We're going to explore there. rocky plains, just what we expected and what we hoped for. We will build the windmills there, I think. We do need to expand from here first, though. And that means maybe we save up and build the power plant first. And that means we want to explore something like this so we get a lot of titanium. We only got 4 there. I could have hoped for a little bit more from a deposit. And we can't get any use out of the composting facility at the moment. The only reason to build it would be to get it off our deck. But we can have 1 more card in our deck at the moment. We can have 8 from the start. Okay, so here we have a load balancing station. So if we have buildings that cost power, we can make power back from them. And this is a building that costs power than a food factory, which trades support for food. And then we have a habitation module. This one we want to have because we need to, we want to have the extra expansion slot down here. So let's pop that one in there. We can build the baths in here in the middle to make them expand more. Then we get the expansion out here. We'll put the... Do we want to do that or do we want to wait and do... I think it's better to do that next turn for the 2 power. We can expand out that way already. I don't think... Yeah, we might be able to get 2 from exploration. Let's see if we have any better ones than these. No, I think this one is decent. We get some water too. We need the water for the baths. Water, titanium and support. We found a crater there and some extra food. Doing good on food this run. So now we have 16, which we can build the power plant up here. We need to build a dike around that one too, but it's not an urgent issue. I want to explore a little bit around here too. So we found a crater here, so we could build a city. There's loads, and we've got a silicate deposit here and an anomaly down there. So this we want to build a science building on. Here we can build a silicate mine. And we have we have 3. Actually we have this area here, which is also 3 connections. We could use this one. Oh, that's a mine. That's not going to be. No one's going to be wanting to live right next to it. We could have one here. We could have a modular. We could have apartments in both of those. Headquarters goes down right beside this one for the 3 extra, of course. And that does limit the expansion a little bit from this city, which isn't that much of an issue. Gives us access to this mine and the nitrates mine up here. That is probably a good plan. Now we do have 3 buildings here, so we can build the composting facility. We'll get an extra nitrates. We'll put this one down here. It doesn't actually affect these, so we'll put the composting facility down there. We should be able to build this one soon. And let's turn. And here the expectations rise again, so we're at -3. Now we're at -23. That goes up pretty quickly. The courthouse will increase the comfort, so that this would be 6 support than in our capital. Research center, 2 extra projects will be proposed each turn. That's a good one. It makes you so you have more cards to choose from. It does cost science, and I really want to get this one out of the way to get it up, mostly to get it off the board here, but also so we can clear out the rocks up in Pavonis Mons or Olympus Mons. Let's rename this city to Olympus Mons. It does make sense. That's what I would name a city, located on Olympus Mons. could probably find something fun here too for this one. Bernard. That's quite nice how it was so close. Do something from beside them. I think maybe we do want to build a city there on the crater. Now we do have enough water for the public baths, and putting this one down gives +2 for each of them, and it also gives 5 by itself. And that's 11 support. That takes away half of the deficit we have. And then we need to keep exploring. Let's see if we want to... This is a -3 zone, and here is a -0 zone, so we probably want to keep exploring equatorially here. Sandstones, and this is a place where we can have guided tours. Provide support for the city that has the guided tours. I need to select a new project. I think we will pick up the courthouse. I'm not sure we will build it, but I think it's the better choice for us right now. And here we have our first space project. Maybe we should choose that one just because... maybe we should choose the... This was a really hard one. We don't really need the oceans just yet. And we don't have any tritium to make this project work anyway. So we will wait for another space project. So between having another house next turn, there's another population we could put down in... Probably down in Bernard, to be fair. Or an Android hub. We'll go with a population. Population provides support, so it's important to get more population. And we did get the power plant up here. We don't want to save the titanium for next. I was thinking of building the landing pad here, but I think we will skip the landing pad. And we'll probably go for the windmills instead. Let's see what we can find. We were exploring up here. We kind of want to hit these ones to see if we can find a new city location. And here we found a lava tube. That's really cool. And now we want to explore these locations off, so we can actually build something here. And here we found a tritium deposit too, so this is going to be a good place for a city. Now lava tubes, they look quite scary. There's a lot of rocks we need to break off down here. And we've got a really nice cross here in the middle with where we can have 4 population living around a public service building. We've got a great natural site, so this is a good headquarters spot. And we've got a smaller one over here, which we'll probably demolish for building other buildings. And we have fertile soil over here for building a farm of some sort on. We need some more water to make this doable, and I think we want to get this one out first, because this is a lot of rocks to clear. So I think we need to maybe put some points into, instead of that, we'll put some more points into science. And we're gonna need some more water as well, of course. So yeah, we'll make up the food difference in about, because we need the water as well. So in about 10 turns we can expand to the lava tube, so we can build the Marsha next turn without much of a deal. We can trade ourselves to make the lava tube city come up. Yes, and it's right by the Marineris Valley. That's nice. Okay, so maybe we do want to have the landing pad, but not yet. We want to have the Marsha first. And we only want this population here for... But this is a good one. This is, if we look at the... It provides a photovoltaic extra power if it's on a high source. And the hospital provides 7 support and 1 to all adjacent. The bath provided 2 to all adjacent and 5 support. So they're weighted a little bit different. And then we have the cultured meat lab. I'll probably pick that one up. It's some small support and some food per turn. We can have that in our lava tube city there. It's probably going to be called Marineris. So let's build a soil factory here, and that'll double our food production. So now we're making 6 per turn. So we're going to need to import some more water for the other city. We're going to put up the Marsha here. That's a +6 on this tile for the comfort of living and for being next to a bath. That's provides a lot of radiation protection there. This one gets max from radiation protection, and max is 4, I believe. So it gets 4 from radiation protection, and then 1 from being, or 2 from being close to the public baths. Now we need to get some more titanium again. We do want to have this up first, so that's 3. That's 4 turns until we have enough to get this one. And then we need enough water too. Yeah, we need the spaceport. So we want to explore somewhere where there is titanium. We do need to get both of these explored too before that. But I think we want to go somewhere with titanium right now. Power and titanium. We're not really running out of power. Here's some science. Power and titanium, we'll take that one. We get 6 science, that's good. So we'll be able to get this one quicker. And it was a meteor right here. We can either harvest it for its resources or build a research station. If it's, we do have to expand out towards it first, of course, to be able to make any kind of use of it. Now we did get an extra expansion here. And we could expand out to one of the locations around it. We're going to explore this one, I think, and this one, and see if we can't find a canyon overlook or something nice that will provide comfort of living for the city. And I think we will go with the, and that'll give us 2 turns. We get that one. Okay, so let's build a landing pad here, I think, just so we get the extra trade route. We do have loads of silicates because we're not using them for anything. We'll bring down some extra water because we want to hit 10 so we can build our city up here. We need to explore these 2 locations. We get 1 in 2 turns, so we need to manually explore one of them. And here we get more bacteria, and this one works in -2, which is really good. Provides atmosphere and oxygen, cyanophyta, or we get the artificial bacteria, which produces science for a city. It requires 1 oxygen. We're gonna get the cyanophyta. We can have another landing pad, or an android hub, or a laboratory. Or we could probably get the laboratory. Do we want the laboratory or the android hub? I feel that the android hub is probably going to be more useful here. There's a lot of expansion points. So getting some robots up here to help us expand is going to be helpful. So you can get bus stations and train stations so that you don't get this penalty for things further away. And yeah, we do need to explore too, so let's explore one of these. This one costs 2, and we'll use the satellites on the other one. It's an empty one, so we can place our windmills there. And do we have anything? And our bacteria spreader is working on the same cooldown, of course. But you can have more than 1 bacteria spreader, so you could have 5 of them. And we've got 5 turns left until it gets back its use. And we're probably going to put the Dinococcus out on the... where we could put them in one more. So yeah, I think it was here in Tharsis we could put those Solis. We already put them in Tharsis, but we can put them down here in Solis too, where we're going to be. That's gonna be fine. We'll save that expansion point for a little bit. Well, that's gonna be all for this episode. There's gonna be a second part of this one, maybe a third one too, where we power through. A game is usually about 60 turns. So be sure to tune in for that one. And we're gonna speed up a little bit now that I've talked about most of the basics here. And thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time.